Hello, first graders. Today is Thursday, May 21st, 2020. It is Thursday. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do our second test for math. Remember, this is a test that you take by yourself. You do not ask your grown-ups, don't ask your siblings or your dog or whoever is in your house. This is a test to see what you know in math. And remember, this is not a test to see how smart you are. This is a test to show Mrs. Draper and I what we need to teach you still. Okay, so if I'm going too fast, what can you do? Yep, you can pause it. So number 1 says, Sarah brushed her teeth after breakfast. Fill in the bubble to show how long it probably took. Did it take 1 second? Did it take 1 minute or 1 hour? Go ahead and bubble your answer. Number 2, Danny went to soccer practice at 4 o'clock. His practice lasted for 1 hour. Fill in the bubble under the clock that shows what it looked like when soccer practice was over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline some information in here because this is a story problem, and story problems, they have a lot of information and we have to pull it out of the story and decide what we're going to do with all this information. Okay, so Danny went to soccer practice at 4 o'clock. His practice lasted for 1 hour. Fill in the bubble under the clock that shows what it looked like when soccer practice was over. So I heard the number 4 o'clock. So I'm going to circle it. I also heard that his practice lasted for 1 hour. And that's also another thing that I need to know. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read it one more time. And I'm going to pay attention to what the author wants us to do with this information. What does the author want us to do with the 4 o'clock and the 1 hour? All right. So Danny went to soccer practice at 4 o'clock. His practice lasted for 1 hour. Fill in the bubble under the clock that shows what it looked like when soccer practice was over. So it's asking you, what did the clock look like when Danny was finished with soccer practice? So remember, he started at 4. His practice lasted for 1 hour. So when he was done and he looked at his watch, did he see this one? Did he see this, this, or this? Fill in the bubble. So I'm going to scroll down to number 3. Number 3, the teacher and the students played a game of Hour or Bust. They each took 3 spins. So this is my turn. This is your turn. On a line below the student's clock, show how many minutes they got on each spin. Then add the numbers to show their total. I'm going to read that one more time because there's 2 directions on things that we need to do. Okay? So number 1 says, on the line below the student's clock, show how many minutes they got on each spin. Then add the numbers to show their total. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out how many minutes was each turn. Okay, and then you're going to write it on this line. And then you're going to find out what is the total of the 3 spins. Okay. So then you should have an equation that looks like this. So this is 1 spin, this is another spin, this is a 3rd spin. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to tell me who won the game and by how much. So you're going to tell me, did I win or did the students win, and how much more did they win by? All right. We're going to look at page 2 next. All right, so we're on our second page right now, and it looks like this. It has 2 milk cartons on it. So the first thing it says on number 4, Fill in the missing numbers on these change box charts. So what are we going to do? We're going to fill in the missing numbers on the change box charts. So A says, roll add 10. Pedro says every time you put in a number, you get 10 more when the card pops out. I'm going to read that one more time, and I'm going to circle some information I heard that I thought was important. So A, roll add 10. Circle that because that's important. And then it says, Pedro says, every time you put in a number, you get 10 more when the card pops out. So every time you put a card in, you get 10 more. It's going to circle that too. So what that means is that if I put in the number 5, 15 pops out because that's 10 more from 5. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fill in the missing numbers here. And you can see that 20, what number do you think might come out? 25, what number do you think might come out here? 30, what number do you think comes out here? And 40, what number comes out here? Okay. Now B says the rule is subtract 10. Ashley says every time you put in a number, you get 10 less when the card pops out. So one more time. The rule is subtract 10. So I'm going to circle that. Ashley says every time you put in a number, you get 10 less when the card pops out. So that means that whenever you put a card in, number is 10 less, or that you're subtracting by 10. Okay, so here you see there is 20, 10 comes out. So what you're going to do now is you're going to think about what numbers do you think is going to come out when you put in a 50? What numbers do you think is going to come out when you put in the number 60? What number do you think is going to come out when you put the number 80? What number do you think is going to come out when you put the number 90? All right, so I'm going to erase my highlights. While you guys figure that out. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause it. Number 5 says, Maria made a paper glider. She flew it 3 times. Arrows A, B, and C on the Unifix cube runway below show where her glider landed each time. Write the number to show where each arrow is. So you're going to look at this Unifix cube runway, and that's going to help you answer these 3 questions here. So A says, arrow A, boop, is pointing to cube. So whatever cube number do you think that might be? Arrow B, boop, is pointing to cube. So whatever number do you think that might be? And C, arrow C is pointing to cube. All right. I will be back for the last page. All right, first graders, so this is the last page of our test. So let's read what it says. Maria and some other kids made a tally chart to show how many nosedives, short flights, long flights they made with their paper gliders. So here's a chart. And this is the chart we're going to use to answer the questions on this page. So A says, count the tally marks and write the number in the box at the bottom of each column. So what you're going to do for A is you're going to count how many tally marks you see, write that number here, and you're going to do the same thing for this one and this one. So one more time. What you're going to do is you're going to count how many tally marks you see here, write that number here, okay? Number B says, fill in the bubble to show what kind of flights they made the most. So which one was the most? This one, the nosedives, the short flight, or the long flights? Fill in your bubble here. Number C says, how many more short flights did they make than long flights? Show your work. So you're going to look at how many more short flights do they make than long flights? Show your work here. Remember, you can draw pictures, you can draw an equation, and make sure you tell us how you got that answer. But then make sure that you write your answer here. All right, number D. How many fewer nosedives did they make than long flights? Show your work. So the word fewer means less. I think in your brain, when you hear the word less, are you adding or subtracting? So it's going to ask you how many fewer nosedives do they make than long flights. Same thing here. You're going to solve your equation. You can always draw a picture. Make sure you write your answer here. All right. I want you to try your best. You can always replay these videos if you're a little bit confused. And I will see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.